Hello and welcome to episode 12 of VendrCast, also the final season of the final episode of season 1. So it's kind of like our season finale right here in downtown Denver at Bigsby's Folly. I'm joined by Justin Kada of Exclusive Event DJ and Howe Eventful, John Ski's company here. And we're here at Bigsby's Follies, like I said, and we're going to be talking about essentially, the commonalities between the two businesses they have, as they're both DJs. So I'm really interested to see the similarities, the commonalities, and just to see kind of essentially like where they both got the itch to be DJs and essentially like where it led them and just to kind of hear their stories. So with that said, who would like to go first and just kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and your company and how your journey a little bit? Love to hear about your journey.
Awesome. So I guess I originally got into DJing in my late teens.
Yeah.
I was big into producing music. I actually never really wanted to DJ. I just wanted to make music. And then one of my friends told me, hey, no one's ever going to listen to your music if you actually don't get out there and play it. So he was like, hey, I got a spot at this club for you. You can go play some of your music and see how you like it. And went out there, played the music. Everyone was dancing and having a good time. And from there, it was like, why was I trying to avoid this? This is like the best thing in the entire world. So that's kind of like the start of the DJ journey. And then I was a club DJ for a long time, got to open up for a lot of like A-list artists, and slowly but surely couples were asking me to DJ their weddings. And that's kind of how I got to the wedding and event space, bringing the high energy club vibes to those types of events.
That's awesome, man. I'm sure like just kind of playing your music for the first time. Like what was it like when you queued up your own song for the first time and like seeing the reactions of people dancing to it for the first time? Like what was that like? What was going through your mind? Like tell me everything.
I mean, there's really no better feeling. It's like something you created and it makes people go crazy. It just gives you goosebumps all over. It's just like this crazy high, I guess, that you get. And, even to this day, I like to incorporate a lot of my own personal edits and remixes and stuff like that. And, sometimes they bomb and it's like, oh, like,
Okay.
bummer. But
Yeah.
sometimes they do really well. And it's like, you get that same feeling.
Yeah, and every time you make one, you get better and better, or just like, the idea maybe sparks something else and something else and something else. The only thing that matters is you just keep going, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to talk to you more and just to learn more about that passion you have. And, and just we're also joined by John Howe Eventful. And John, tell us your journey, please.
Oh God. Um, so I never in a million years thought that I would be a DJ or where I'm at right now. I was actually in the Air Force when I discovered I just fell upon a sports bar that was, they had a DJ who also did karaoke on certain nights of the week.
Yeah.
And I went in there for karaoke just for shits and giggles, and the guy running the thing was like, "Dude, you got a great personality. You interact with the crowd well." He's like, "You ever thought about doing this?"
Cool.
And at the time, I was full-time Air Force, so I was
Yeah.
like, "Not really." He's like, "Oh well, you come work for me a couple nights a week. I'll pay you this, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, why not? It'll be fun." And yeah, that just kind of blossomed into I was doing that. And then the summer came around, and he asked, and the owner of the company asked me if I wanted to get into weddings.
Mm-hmm.
And this was back in the day when, you know, we were using giant 200 CD changer systems and you know, to DJ music with. And you know, it just did some weddings, and after that, you know, I ended up getting out of the Air Force, moving back home, and didn't really think too much more about the DJing aspect. You know, I needed a job.
Yeah.
And I started going out there and looking for jobs. I ended up, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I did karaoke in Arizona. Go check out who's doing karaoke. And
Break into that market.
I started, you know, I started doing karaoke up here, and from doing that, I was driving home from an event, and I saw a nightclub opening up, and
Cool.
I was just thinking, oh, I know that barbacks at nightclubs make great money. So I went and applied for a job as a barback at this nightclub. They saw that I had DJ experience,
Mm-hmm.
and immediately was like, hey, how would you like to be our resident DJ? We'll show you and
Wild.
teach you everything you need to know. And I'm like,
Cool.
okay. And the next 7 years, I was the resident DJ at a nightclub in Westminster. That's actually how I met Brian Howe, who was the founder of my company.
Got it. Okay, that
And
makes total sense.
after the club ended up closing down, I kind of took a hiatus from DJing. I sold all my equipment, and I just figured, you know, okay, time to get a big boy job. You know, and started going out. I did restoration. I was an electrician for a little bit.
Yeah.
Until
Really, you went that far to like
yeah,
electrician? Like, did you
I
get your
was-
certifications and everything?
I was a journeyman electrician.
Really?
And
Did that start before or after? Oh, were you? What was your AFSC? Oh, for those listening, AFSC is Air Force Specialty Career. I was also in the Air Force, so let me just throwing out an acronym out there. Let me just there you go, some context.
it's technical.
So what was
your job title?
Yeah, what was your what was your job? That's basically what I asked, but I did it in the most military way possible.
I was a crew chief on F-16 fighter jets.
Okay. Wild.
So yeah, so I, you know, when I got into the Air Force, I was looking for an adventure. I was looking for
Got it.
something that no one else was doing.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to spend another 4 years in college with the same people I went to high school with.
Yeah.
No offense to my high school, you know. But you know, I'm the kind of guy that I'm always looking for that next adventure, you
Yeah.
know. And so when I got into the Air Force, I told my recruiter that I want to do something that no civilians do on the outside world, you know, something specific to the military.
Huh.
And I always loved mechanics and taking things apart and putting them back together. And so when he was like, well, you know, you could be a fighter jet mechanic, and I was like, sold, done. And yeah, the rest was history. I became an F-16 crew chief and spent the next 9 years traveling the world and doing something I loved.
That's awesome, dude. And you know what? I'm as someone who also served in the military, like people either have like really, really good stories or really, really like, you know, horror stories. And I'm glad to hear you had a great experience and you got everything you needed out of it. And not only that, you got some hard skills from being a crew chief, you know, to apply to the real world. Right? That's
yeah.
awesome. And I'm excited to talk to you more about that for sure. So you said you opened for some A-listers. Okay. That's cool. Like, are you like, you know, are you too humble to name drop anyone? Or like, who's the one to this day you're like, I still can't believe that happened?
Probably one of the wildest is Steve Aoki.
No way. Okay, so are you more of a house DJ or like, what's your genre type?
I was definitely progressive house, big room.
Cool. All right.
But I used to like to mix a lot of the EDM tunes with like top 40, kind of like you see with like the big booty mixes and stuff nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
Is like something we were doing in the clubs then because we really wanted to engage with people with like the popular music, but we were still in an EDM club, so it needed to feel less poppy and more.
Yeah, like more
legit.
just more. Okay, understood. So like, what? Like, okay, I'm gonna try to ask a hard question. Like, what song would summarize your like genre type in the sense of like, oh, I'm definitely throwing this song in a set if like I'm making just a big room set and I want to like get the crowd going.
Well, you know, I don't know about like a specific song.
Sure.
but
Okay.
If there was an artist that I paid attention to the most,
That's a great way to frame it.
Martin Garrix.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Martin Garrix is great. I just saw him at Red Rocks.
I did
when
too.
he was just here. Oh, he threw down. That was a great show. I really love his song. Set Me Free.
Mm-hmm.
Like that rev in it, like and the it's even though it's like DMB, it's 170 BPM, which is really fun. Because you can either like speed it up to DMB or like have it sit just off. And that's really fun about that song. And dude, but Martin Garrix has always been just like his music, he's always been like a pioneer in the big room area, right? Of like trying new things and like sometimes like he has some great songs. I really like Cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though it's a deeper house song, right? Cocoon is really really fun. But yeah, out of Martin Garrix, I gotta say, Set Me Free is like one of my favorites. What's one of your favorites from MG?
I guess High on Life is probably,
Mm.
it's one of his anthems.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a feel good anthem. It gives you like the
Hey,
goosebumps and all that.
yes, that's a great answer.
But yeah, that would kind of explain or
Mhm.
describe how I was DJing back then. And
Yeah,
then I was living in San Diego at the time, so that was
yeah,
more the style there.
yeah.
And then I moved out to Denver in 2015 and got introduced to bass music.
Listen, welcome. Okay.
Yes. And I would say nowadays I tend to still resonate with Martin Garrix,
For
but
sure.
if you know Griffin,
Oh, okay.
Griffin
Like
does a
Griffin
lot of
Moore.
like melodic stuff,
Yeah, melodic bass.
128 BPM, but he
Uh-huh.
also
Yeah.
does like 150. And if you've seen him live, he throws in a amount of like dubstep and D&B
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
What's
So,
cool is like so we're gonna nerd out about DJ stuff for the next like hour and a half. So like, we're really excited to have you here and this is the season finale. But anyway, what's really cool is especially with some of the music I found is like you can like half the BPM and do like 87. And so you can like change from, with the bass literally change from like a DMB speed, right? Because you're still using the same BPM, and then you can switch the basses over, and then you're switching into like a dubstep kind of hit. And so that's something I know Griffin does. Like you said, there's some other people who've done that, and it's always really fun to do because then the like your crowd doesn't know what's going on, and you kind of be mixing them up while also just kind of like simply changing dials, which it's really fun to be doing all you're doing as a DJ, but really it's really simple things done really well with like really good timing.
yeah,
Like
you got to throw in those the unexpected
yeah,
curveballs,
for
right?
sure, absolutely.
You might play a nice 128 progressive house song, and then you hit that second drop and you throw it into some like bass house, or even like
Absolutely.
pump up the BPMs and drop a dubstep
Yeah.
in it, and people, it's great. People on the dance floor, they just kind of look over at you like,
Yeah, absolutely. And like leave the stems on from the first song. So
yeah,
you're like, whoa, what is happening right now? And that's all the things I've been like finding. And that's just it's so fun. And I'm so glad to be like part of you guys now because it's like we can like it's just such a fun way to make people feel good and also give them therapy they never knew they needed in a way that they never knew they like could experience it, right? Like,
yeah,
and it's like because you don't need permission to do it, right? You just play music, and the way that song sounded to you, it's gonna sound to me. And a really good analogy that I heard, especially when it comes to music and applying music, right? It's like an idea, right? But think of it like this: a song instead of the idea thrown into someone's mind is like it's like thrown into like a bird's nest, right? Like it's processed through the nest, right? But the same song entered the nest, right? So it's interesting how music can do that, right? Where like it's how people perceive it and like encode it in a way, whether or not it will resonate with them or not. Right. And that's why it's really fun to be like, hey, I really like this song. And the first time you play this song, especially if the vibes are right. Like, don't drop like an Excision song on During Sunset unless that's what you guys like to do. Right, heavy bass, just like slap them, right? That's fine. But like, as long as the vibes are feeling and everything, or preface it right, like sometimes it really resonates with them, right? And that's what's really cool about music. And that's something I've also found while DJing is like finding ways to take a song and then flip it into something else and just like either amplify the meaning of the song or to change the meaning of the song or like whatever, just to really align the intentionality of everything, right? And that's what's really interesting about music, right? So when did you talked about working at a bar for 7 years, right? And then you left. Um, During that time, right, being a crew chief, like were you? I was a nonner for the record, and so a nonner is anyone who was not on the flight line, right? Is anyone wondering? I was a nonner. I was public affairs.
Is
right?
that like the
So
chair force?
yeah, okay, so
Okay.
basically
Yeah,
right.
they
Yeah,
talk about when they
the
say chair
chair force is an honor, right? No, no, you're absolutely right. And did I sit in chairs? Absolutely. But what was really cool about my job was I was a broadcast journalist at first, and then I became a multimedia specialist and public affairs specialist. I got to live vicariously through all the different career fields in the Air Force that I got to cover. Like one day I would be a surgeon, and the next I would be a crew chief, right? And so, like, even though I was in the chair, which no offense taken at all, I think it's hilarious, and you're absolutely right, man. It's a business; it's not even a military. Oh, just kidding. Anyway,
Apologize to all of you Air
apologize.
Force
Yeah, absolutely.
people out there.
No, but real talk. But anyway, when it comes to what my job did, and I'd be out there with you guys. I was out there in some of those mornings, those cold mornings where like you were standing by a heater, right? So tell me, is there a story, right, that resonate, like that really, like when you think of your crew chief days, is like one story that stands out and like, oh my goodness, you would not believe this, right?
Oh, geez.
Anything you can say, because this was before like they cracked down on
Classified.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
that was before they like
No,
cracked down on hazing and everything. When did you
I
start?
think one specific story that will always resonate with me of like just this is the real thing kind of experience
Yeah, for sure.
is um when when I was stationed in New Mexico and our squadron um got assigned to go over to Kuwait.
Mm,
And originally, and this is during Operation Desert Shield. You
mhm.
know, Desert Storm just happened,
Yeah.
and Desert Shield was in full effect. And we were just one of the squadrons that was assigned to go over there and just, basically hang out and run missions, over in Kuwait for, we were supposed to be there for a total of I think 90 days, something like that.
Mhm.
And so it was kind of one of those that, it was routine. It was something that we were all expecting, just a routine thing. Yeah, we're going to go to the desert for 3 months. Yay.
Got it.
And so we jumped on the planes and head out on over,
Mhm.
and we landed at Kuwait Airport, and then jumped on a C-130 and flew down to the Air Force Base,
Yeah.
the Kuwait Al Jabar Air Base.
Yeah, yeah.
And the minute we landed, we were all, kind of in the whole process of, okay, time to head to our tents and
Yeah, yeah.
figure out where we're sleeping and start unpacking and everything.
Yeah.
And as soon as we stepped foot off the C-130, all of a sudden you could just see the energy on the base was different. It was heightened. It was like, what's going on? Everyone was in almost a panic at the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
And so we step off the C-130, and immediately our commanding officer comes up and says, everybody over here for a briefing. Uh, and that's when we got the word that, oh, guess what? Our F-16s from, that have been flying over the ocean, they're due to land any minute now. I need all of the flight line personnel to head over, start setting up
Wow.
spots for the parking. And as soon as they land, we are switching over to live ordnance. We're getting ready, and we are going on alert, because that is, as soon as we landed is when we got the word
Yeah.
that, hey, guess what? We're about to be a part of a surprise attack on Iraq. And that was Operation Desert Fox. I'm sure not a lot of people know about that, but we were the first squadron in on Operation Desert Fox. We were one of the first squadrons to head in and start dropping bombs.
Were you really?
And that was kind of one of those, oh my God, this, it's happening.
Yeah.
This is no joke. It's not just going to be a 3-month, vacation in the desert.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all, hopped to, and I don't think I even saw the tent we were sleeping in or even got to be introduced to my bed for another 12 hours. We were out
Wow.
on that flight line getting the jets turned and ready to go,
Yeah.
and then standing by and waiting for the
Waiting for
word
the
to
word.
send them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, it was kind of a, it was very,
Absolutely.
very exciting
Wow.
experience. And that that day will forever be burned in my memory of just like, yeah, this is it, man.
This is real.
And
for sure.
that's that's kind of why I signed up, is for that adventure. Really.
Yeah,
Talk
absolutely.
about just getting thrown right into the action, right?
Yeah, 100%. So, like, what rank were you?
When I got out, I was a staff sergeant.
Okay, so when you landed, were you a senior airman or?
When I went to Kuwait,
Yeah,
yes.
okay,
Yeah,
so
I
you-
was a senior airman at the time.
So that's like, you're not quite an NCO yet, which is a non-commissioned officer, which is kind of like a supervisor, right? Like you're senior airman's a great rank because you can like be a technical fiend in your job, but you can also just be like an airman still. So you can still get away with airman stuff. And that's a wild wake up though if you're
Like
seeing
flying under the radar. a little bit.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely like flying under the radar, just kind of like, oh, it's a 7:32. I'm just gonna walk right in. Oh, good morning. We're fine. Stuff like that, right? But that's really, really like I had no idea. And what yeah, like Justin said, like what a wake up, right? Like and flying on
yeah.
a C-130, like you said, it's also not very fun. How long was the flight?
The C-130 flight was like maybe a half an hour.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay, well, never mind. I guess that was
Yeah,
a quick
it was
little.
just a really quick jump. So it was from
Yeah.
Kuwait International Airport to
Oh, okay. So you flew
to the Kuwaiti
commercial.
air base.
You flew commercial.
Yeah.
To Kuwait, and then you flew from Kuwait to the airbase.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Cool. So before you got into making music, right? Like when did the start of making music kind of like start, like, and then what were you also doing, right? Or were you also in the military as a crew chief in Kuwait? Like how many similarities are we finding here?
Any interesting stories like that? War zone. I'm in a club.
Hey, listen. Hey, interesting is subjective. Interesting is subjective. So like I'm sure you have stories
I
like
mean, I grew up in DC. I mean,
well, there it is right there. No.
a war zone.
Okay, so like what did you go to school for? Or like was it like I lived in my parents' basement making music and then decided like I need to go play it and then I found my passion for DJing?
That's actually a really good question. I feel like music runs in our family. My mom actually has a master's in music, and
Cool.
she's a classical trained pianist. And when I was a kid,
Wow.
she, tried to teach us piano and
Uh-huh.
dabbled with it a little bit.
For sure.
I think all throughout my childhood, like I always hear music in my head. Like I always wanted to make music. They put me in school band, but my family, we weren't very well off, so it was
Yeah.
like we play the instruments that we have, and
Uh-huh.
we had a clarinet and we had a trumpet, and the clarinet was already spoken for, unfortunately. So
By whom?
a brother or sister.
Got it.
So
Okay, so the trumpet.
so I was left with the trumpet, and I was like, it'd be
Solid instrument though.
now I 100% agree. Like
Okay.
the trumpet is a super powerful
It is.
brass instrument.
It is.
Brings a ton of energy.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, had a brass band at a wedding not too long ago,
Uh-huh.
and oh my god, it like just set the tone.
Yeah. Is that what you played in high school or like
So,
in
I didn't play in high school. I was in middle school,
middle school? Yeah.
and I was like, man, I want to play like the saxophone
Yeah.
or guitar, drums, or something like that.
Yeah.
And whether my parents actually just knew better than to like invest in something for me that I might like dabble in for like a year and then lose
Yeah.
interest in, or they just didn't have the money to get that, or like, no, just stick with this. I never really got to play the instruments I wanted to play. And then it was probably 6th, 7th, 8th grade, somewhere in there, when Napster came along, right? And you could burn your own CDs illegally, which we were not doing.
Nope. Never heard of LimeWire. Never heard of Napster.
My
never-
brother made a mix of just some great classic EDM tunes. So like ATB, Sash, Darude, like
Okay.
a bunch of those, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was like my first EDM CD, and
Cool.
I was totally into it. And then by the time I was almost at the end of high school, I got my own laptop, and I learned, hey, if you can get a DAW, digital audio workstation,
Nice.
if you can get a DAW on your laptop, you can actually make your own music.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and with, a DAW, you can be super creative because you can
Mhm.
literally create any instrument
With
out
MIDI
there.
even and anything.
Yeah,
Like
with
there's
MIDI or
MIDI
use
is
samples or whatever.
oh crap, music instrument digital interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like a way you can take sounds and manipulate them to make the sounds that you
Yeah.
potentially want them to make.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, none of us are good enough to actually make them like that. So we get happy accidents instead. And
Cool.
that's how you end up creating your own sound or your own style, right? Because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I didn't mean to do that, but so yeah, that's how I got into making music.
That's really cool. So like so I know you talked about big room, you like DJing that. Is that where your music kind of lies is in that big room area or does it kind of span? I mean, I'm sure there's a span.
Well,
I mean,
nowadays it's a little bit different. So when I actually started getting into weddings and events,
oh, okay. Yeah.
it took me away from just the constant like 120 to 128 BPM
Uh-huh.
music,
Yeah.
and then I had to learn how to mix all kinds of music that doesn't necessarily fit together easily, right? So that's where you get like word plays and tone plays,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then editing songs. The nice thing about the music production background is, I can pull up Ableton, I can take a couple songs,
Mhm.
and if I really want to, I can figure out a way to make
Yeah.
these two songs that shouldn't go together
Go together.
go together.
Definitely.
So,
Change their key,
all
like
all
all of the above. Like what can
stemming
I
it out,
stem it out, split the
yeah.
drums? Yeah, absolutely.
So now I would say, it's all over the board. I love music, but I have super trendy taste. So when it comes to like top 40 and pop music, that's like I love it. 70s
Shamelessly.
disco,
Absolutely.
love it. 80s pop, love it. 80s rock, love it.
I mean,
Backstreet Boys,
it's a
I mean, I'll
golden
get down
era
with
of
that.
music. Absolutely. Some of the most like iconic tunes ever
Yeah.
that were right there.
But I like to, put my own spin, my own flavor on it.
Yeah. As you
And
should, right?
I always like super high energy, EDM music. So that's
Yeah.
really melding all of those flavors and then now incorporating bass music to give them that nice punch in the
Yeah,
face every
absolutely.
now and
Because
again.
like bass music does do that. It makes people dance,
Yeah.
right? Because it feels like they're getting punched by the bass, and you kind of are, and like it's like sonic energy, and like that's kind of the whole point, and that's why like it's so fun. Like going to like shows and festivals and stuff. That's why people just like you'll never find someone who like is leaving and being like, man, that was the worst time ever. I never want to go back and do that again. They're like, wow, I want to give everyone a hug. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like I
unless it
just
was maybe like Firefest.
oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, we don't talk about that, okay? That's it's like Fight Club. We don't talk about Firefest. We don't talk about Firefest.
Don't talk about
Oh, absolutely. So, okay,
Firefest.
you were in the Air Force as a crew chief, as for F-16s, right? And then you got out and separated, and then you worked at the bar, or you worked at the bar during the military.
No, then so after I separated, I moved back home here,
Yeah, and that's
and
when you worked at the bar.
that's when I found the nightclub
Yeah,
that was opening up.
and you said you mentioned you met Howe. Right. So
Yes.
kind of tell me about that interaction with you and how you started to like, develop this business or like not develop the business in a sense like this mentorship from Hal and then him essentially like entrusting you to carry the torch, right? Tell me about that process, right?
So, when I was DJing at this nightclub in Westminster,
Mhm.
is shameful plug, it was the Electric Cowboy. Uh, During that time, it was from 2007 to 2014,
Uh-huh.
and back then, back then, uh, Budweiser used to throw an annual bartender's ball for everybody who was in the industry, for all bartenders who were in the service industry.
Uh-huh.
Budweiser would throw this once a year bash that, all bartenders and all restaurants and bars would be like exclusively invited to. And so my general manager hits me up and says, "Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to this bartender's ball and just have a great time." And so he took me with him to this Budweiser bartender's ball, and it just so happened to be at the Children's Museum.
Uh-huh.
I think it was 2007, and the headlining DJ was Brian Howe.
Oh, okay, cool.
At this time, Brian was pretty much the DJ for Budweiser for their events, for a lot of the events that they would throw. And
Like
so
he traveled with Budweiser and stuff like that, and or just like
a lot of state, but he
well,
did.
Budweiser is local to Colorado, though,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So so he was the main DJ for this bartender's ball, and my manager was like, "Hey, come on, I want you to meet somebody." And I don't know how they met originally or how they knew each other, but he brings me up in the DJ booth and he introduces me to Brian Howe. And at the time, I was just like, nice to meet you. I'm not worthy. There's no way I'm even close to this guy.
No one's worthy.
But in that moment, I even told my manager, I was like, in 10 years, I want to be either where this guy is. I want to be working with him. I want to be,
Cool.
working under him. Something. I want to be involved with whatever this guy is doing. Like in 10 years, I want to be somewhere in his circle or even in his, orbit of being somewhat skilled of a DJ. And and we ended up having Brian come to the Electric Cowboy and do guest sets on some nights, while the club was still open. And when the club closed and I kind of, 7 years of DJing in a nightclub from Thursday through Sunday, from 7 p.m. until 3 a.m, it's enough to make someone jaded over that, and I became really jaded towards the nightclub DJing universe kind of thing. The constant people coming up and requesting just dumbass songs and having to keep a smile on my face and be like, yeah, no, that's a great, I'll try and work that in.
Which song, like, would you like
I honestly could not. And it's not necessarily that the song that they requested was a dumb song.
Just like the timing of it was dumb. And the BPM was so off. Genre was off.
People always tend to come up and think that the DJ is there for them and not for everybody.
Yeah.
And so you're in a specific genre or you're in a vibe of music that everyone's jamming to on the dance floor, and someone will come up and ask for something that's just completely off the wall and doesn't even fit.
Yeah.
How about this one, John? I got this request just this last weekend. They requested the song and they said, "Hey, you're gonna play that like now, right? Like right now."
Question:
like right now?
What event were you at? Were you at an event? Was this the bride?
No, it wasn't a wedding. Okay, a bride comes up to me and says, "You're gonna play it right now." I say,
"Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Let's do this now. Let me use my HPV. No. I'm just gonna fade this in."
This was not that, and I did not see $100 bill on the table. Okay, and it was like literally, you're gonna stop the song right now and play this, and I'm no.
No, and like it's sometimes people just don't know what they don't know. They think it's like they think it's as simple as them using their own Spotify, right? It's just like, oh, I don't like this song anymore. I'm gonna press
skip,
boom, right?
Skip,
right? Like absolutely. And you know what's so funny? Now that I I practice and everything, I'm like kind of like getting in the flow stuff. Instead of skipping songs, if I don't want to listen to the song, what I'll try to do is I'll listen to like the first phrase or like whatever I can and try to skip to the end and try to hit either the last beat on the last phrase of the the second drop or whatever, and that way it plays it out. I'm still kind of cruising through, right? And sometimes we nail it and we're like, oh yeah, but sometimes it's like I'm like, oh, that didn't work. But hey, it's people don't know what they don't know.
You're putting in honest work.
Practicing, you know what I mean?
Yes. With DJ software, that's why we have Q points. You just
no, absolutely right. I'm talking about Spotify or like.
I know.
That's why. No,
let's see if I can.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it's like. I mean, that's why I like using SoundCloud sometimes because I can see the waveforms and I can go right to the end of the waveform and just kind of go into the next. But anyway, when we talked about nightclub, right, and actually like DJing at a nightclub, right? Before we start talking about this, I want some. Have you DJed at nightclubs and stuff like that, right? Sick. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. So DJing at a nightclub. Let's talk about that, right? You guys, actually, in your bio, you talked about reading the room and like how that's a really important skill and being able to, really amplify the mood or whatever, and like kind of like working ways to change that. I want to hear from both of you guys, kind of like your thoughts on that, your approach of that. How do you observe that? Some of the key things you're looking for. right? And then how do you go about changing that, right? So whoever would like to go first can go first. I'd like to hear both of your perspectives because you both have different methods, I'm sure, and
So what are we talking? Are we talking about a nightclub, or are
Okay,
we talking about
great
a
question.
wedding or event?
Great question. So we can do both, right?
Okay.
If the answers are different, right? I'd like to hear both perspectives, right? Because DJs who are listening or like who will listen to this, right? They'll be faced in those two situations as well. I'm sure they would like to have the insight for both situations. So we can do the event first, right? Or what we talked about. What would the
Yeah.
okay?
Well, actually, I have a good example where
Sick.
we can kind of like meld them together.
Great, let's do it.
When you're DJing at a nightclub, usually the owners have a very specific vibe that they want to curate. And the best thing a DJ can do going in is to figure out how much flexibility they have. So, for instance, I was DJing at I think it's more of like a dinner club, um, providing support for a cover band, a Maroon 5 cover band.
Okay. Cool.
And when I came in there, I knew that their general crowd was an older crowd because they usually host like 80s cover bands and stuff like
Got it.
that.
And when you say 80s, you mean like 40s, 60s kind of? Like what do you mean like olders?
What do you mean as far as like the
Just
the
messing
guess
with you.
age?
No, just messing with you. Continue. Trying to trap you.
I'm completely lost on that one.
No, I'm just messing.
Like
Go ahead.
80s music?
No, I guess like the
Oldies?
age of the crowd. Like it's an
Yeah,
older
yeah,
crowd.
yeah.
Like the average age of the crowd, I guess, was
So like 60s.
perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was asking. Yep.
So I'm 40s. I know I shouldn't give you guys my age, but we're like early 2000s.
Yeah,
Us 40-year-olds.
absolutely. Yeah, no,
right?
it's honestly, I'm 30 and like I was born 1995, so I'm not that far behind you
Yeah.
guys.
Well,
Like,
and if you like early 2000s, that was like the best music that was
absolutely.
made.
Oh,
So
totally, absolutely, like best generation for sure.
I
So
fully agree with that.
we're working. All right. So you were saying about your
so the first thing I did is I came up to the owner and I was like, hey, look, well, first of all, thank you for having me here.
for sure, absolutely.
So I was informed by someone that performs here regularly that this is like the typical crowd.
Okay.
So I just asked him, like, I know the plan is to stick to the music that the band is playing.
Yeah.
So Maroon 5 cover band. So they're probably, 2005s to 2015.
Like the generation of Maroon 5.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and actually they just put out like a newer album recently. So they're still making music.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
And that's like the baseline. That's like where we want to keep it.
Yeah.
Now, how we relate this to a wedding or event? Well, you have your couple, and most couples that are getting married right now love music from like 2010s
Yeah, for sure.
era because
Their high
that's the
school
music,
days
the
or
high
like
school days.
whatever and stuff like that. It's nostalgia.
Yeah,
For sure.
and we tend to love the music that we grew up with, right?
Mhm.
We can also accept music that's older than us, but then at a certain point, we start not liking music, like the new music that's coming out. We're like, oh, these kids, listen to this junk. Hopefully, I listen to a lot of music, so it's just I love everything. But
Sure.
so I asked him, I was like, hey, do you want me to 100% stick to this vibe? Or do I have some freedom if I see an opportunity to reach out and play something that I think is going to resonate with some of these other people?
Yeah.
So sure enough, the crowd walks in.
Cool.
It's definitely an older crowd. Now, a lot of them that are coming in here, even though they're older, they still like Maroon 5. That's why they're, coming to the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I did see a few opportunities where I could, okay, I'm going to play a track that's a little bit older to grab their attention. And it worked. They stood up, they came to the dance floor. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to play something a little bit newer.
Cool.
And then next thing you know, I'm back in the original program.
Cool.
And how does that tie into a wedding? Well, your couple, they want specific music. They don't want too much, cliche or like music that doesn't feel like them. The wedding should feel like them.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, we want to get everyone up and dancing. So that's how you do that is you throw in a couple songs to get those people up out to the dance floor, and then you slowly bring it back to the original program.
Got it.
So if you could do that, that's great. Now, sometimes that's not always the case, especially like some of the like EDM clubs and whatnot that I performed in. They're like, no, we really want to stick to like, more underground, not as I don't know, recognizable tunes, but
Oh,
I always
really?
kind of like to try
Gotcha.
to break the mold a little bit
Yeah.
because people want to hear stuff that they know. And it's our job as DJs to play what they want to hear.
Mhm.
Because
At least the balance of it,
yeah,
right? Like
at
a
least the
ratio,
balance.
maybe like, 3 for the club and 1 for me. Something like
But and at least introduce them to something new.
Mhm.
But they're not even going to pay attention to something new if you don't meet them halfway, right? It's
Exactly.
like just a
Yeah.
general conversation with somebody
Absolutely.
with different points of views.
Yeah.
Like you got to meet them halfway first,
Yeah.
and then you can start like, okay, well let's bring it this direction, see if they like
Mhm.
it. And if they like it, great. And if they don't like it, okay, well
Let's bring it back.
let's bring it back and try it again.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and, like, you can even use, like, that little nostalgia song, whatever, to
Yeah.
bring them into something, and then you got them dancing, then you can flip it into something else, right? So, that's a great way to answer that, and that's a great response, right? John, do you have any, insight or anything you wanna, add to that?
Uh, Jeez. I mean, Justin pretty much nailed it. That
Yeah.
as much as people, they do enjoy um the less recognizable music, everyone still at their core wants to know the song you're playing. They they
Mm,
they want to be able to recognize, the music and
mm,
identify with it.
mm,
And so that, when it comes to reading a room or playing that song that is going to get everybody on the dance floor,
yeah.
it could be as super simple as just throwing on a Kesha song.
The Cupid
You
shuffle.
know, you would be really surprised at how, you know, you really don't have to put too much thought into, okay, what song am I going to play that's really going to get everybody out on the dance
Yeah,
floor, when it's just like, what do you know that everyone likes?
that's a good point.
And it's,
Yeah.
you don't have to overthink it. uh i was i was playing I was playing at a club last week, and I don't even know what I was thinking at the time. I was like, oh, this will be fun, this is going to be fun. And I started off, I do a at this club, I do a rotation of country and dance
Okay.
music, and
Oh, that's a hard
so we
one to
switch it up
blend.
between country and hip hop and country and EDM and stuff like that.
EDM.
EDM.
That's funny. I like that. Quick question. I just out of curiosity, what BPM, and for those listening, BPM stands for beats per minute. It's essentially the counter we use to measure how fast a song is. And when you're DJing, you want to make sure BPMs are matching up so the beats are similar, and that's how we blend songs. Okay. So BPM for country music. Where does that typically fall? I'm just curious.
Oh, all over the place.
Well, country, yeah, country's
When it comes to when
Yeah,
it
'cause I'm
comes
singer
to
songwriter typically, so that makes
when it comes to me playing country music, it has less to do with BPM and more to do with the actual song, the artist,
Oh,
the
interesting.
the story that the song is going to tell.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, when it comes to country music, it's a completely different
it's a different animal.
it's a different animal altogether as far as how you pick what song you're going to play next.
Because it makes sense, like, because all country is just storytelling. It's people
Yeah.
telling different stories through song, and so that would make a lot of sense because you would have the stories flow, right? It's not necessarily about the beat of the song or the meat, like the actual energy of the song, right? It's like the actual story and making sure they're cohesive. So that's a really interesting dynamic. And you blend dance with country in the same club?
Yeah, not necessarily like blending the country songs with dance
No, for
songs.
sure, but you have to transition from
But
one
we
to the
do,
other.
yeah. So it's a constant rotation throughout the night where we go country, dance, country, hip
And do you have like
country
segments where
rock.
like we'll do like a 45-minute segment of like
Yeah, it's
dance and then
so
45
there's so many country songs I'll play, and then I'll go into like
Got it.
it'll be like
Okay.
6 country songs, and then go into like a 9 song dance set, and then back to
Cool.
the country,
Okay.
and it's just back and forth, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a nice little rotation, and it's become huge. It's become
Yeah.
absolutely huge and super popular.
Country's
And
in the last
yeah,
5 years, 6 years, country's just
Exploded.
absolutely.
exploded. Mixing
Yeah.
country with hip hop, country with EDM, making that EDM.
EDM
Yep.
is a really funny
Yeah,
term.
I want to piggyback off something
Yeah,
you said.
go for it.
So, playing familiar tunes. So, do you guys know Dom Dalla?
Of course.
Absolutely.
That's great.
He's like one of my favorite artists.
He's so
every
good.
set
He's such
I
a
go
good
into.
On September 21st, guess what song he closed his set out with?
Please tell me it's one of yours.
September.
Oh, like by Green Day?
No, September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay.
September. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so that's
You know what?
so funny.
EDM crowd. Totally different vibe. He closed it with September,
Such a great song.
and everybody went freaking nuts. So, like, people love that familiarity.
Yeah, that nostalgia tickle, right? It's just
Yeah.
like, and everyone loves to sing that song, and no
Yeah.
one knows the lyrics.
Yeah. And so it's okay to throw it in, right? It's okay to throw it in. Now,
Did he do it with anything?
if every set is, September into like Boogie Shoes, into like I Want to Dance,
Yeah, for sure.
then it starts to get old.
Definitely, for sure. Did he double it with anything out of curiosity?
No,
September.
he
He just
actually-
played it straight out.
He played September. Last song of his set.
That's
Like,
awesome, dog.
The leading global worldwide DJ
Yeah,
right
for
now
sure. Just
ended his set
September.
with September. OG September.
Was it like first and second drop, or did he start it like?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't
no.
see.
Honestly, though, the fact he just threw it down and didn't do anything else with it.
Yeah.
At that point, like he just like this song.
The
is a
crowd,
banger.
you could hear the crowd. The crowd was so loud you could barely hear the
That's
music.
awesome. That's so
that was
funny.
playing.
And I'm sure like he probably did like it came out of nowhere and people just had no idea, and that's that's the point of it, right? Like, and like you said, right? It's like we want to find ways to get people to the dance floor and then surprise them with something. Right? People came to the dance floor for Dom Dalla, but then here you surprised them with something they never saw coming.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's so fun about what we do. And what we do is we bring like energy and just we bring the vibes. Right? Like when you're DJing, right? You bring the vibes. And that's such a really amazing responsibility, right? People think that's all we do, right? That's all DJs do. Right? And if you're doing a show, whatever, that's true. But there's also a point to DJing where a lot of people don't recognize it as much, and that's emceeing, right? There's a whole other side to DJing where you're literally the master of ceremony, right? And so you're calling out the bride and groom. You're like the bride's running behind because she spilt wine on her dress and you have to stall, right? There's so many different situations and scenarios that DJs face, right? And I'd love to hear some of your like insight and like some of your like stories about that specifically, and like what you found as being an MC, and like what are some of the best practices you found. Like, just kind of tell me about that aspect of the job, right? And John, we'll start with you, right? I'd love to hear some of the aspects you found about MCing and like love it, hate it, all of that, right? And then we'll bounce over to Justin, and then he can kind of fill in.
I think when it comes to emceeing, I think what I've found to be to being my, I guess, cornerstone to successful emceeing is, you gotta, when you're making the announcements or you're deciding to talk on the microphone, first of all, you have to be okay with talking on that microphone. You have to be absolutely 100% okay
And
with
what do you mean by
making
that?
a mistake.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
be okay
Yeah.
with, slipping up a little bit. And how I approach every single event when I'm getting on the microphone is, I try and just get myself in the mindset of I'm just talking to a room full of friends and family.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
And when I think of it as these are all my friends and family, then it eases the nerves. It allows you to talk more smoothly on the microphone.
Yeah.
It allows you to communicate better with them and get across the point that you're trying to get across.
Yeah. Was that something Hal taught you, right, during your mentorship of like how to like be an MC and kind of do that, or like was it more about the DJing specifically with Hal?
I think that's something that I just learned over the years
Okay.
of being on the microphone.
Yeah.
One of the main things when I first became that nightclub DJ in 2007 was I had to talk on the microphone. I had to make announcements throughout the night on the microphone. We were doing drink specials and we were doing, hey, don't forget to take advantage of the shot girls, blah, blah, blah. And so I had to get on that microphone and talk. There was absolutely, there's no getting out of it kind of thing.
Totally.
And so from doing that over the years, I've become more accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And, talking on the microphone has basically just been, second nature now, to where if I'm at a wedding and I need to make an announcement on the microphone, there is no hesitation. It's grab the mic, turn it on, and okay, ladies and gentlemen, and then announce whatever's going on.
Mm.
Or if there is, brides running late, we gotta kill some time.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just a matter of keeping the guests informed, jumping on the microphone, letting them know that, hey, we're coming up on the grand entrance. We're about 10 minutes out. So
Yeah.
if you want to refresh those drinks or, freshen up, now would be the time, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just a matter of, being relaxed enough on the microphone to communicate with everybody and not sounding like, it's robotic or it's practiced
For sure.
or you're reading off of a script, and yeah, it's just, just like DJing, practice, practice, practice.
For sure. I mean, honestly, if I had a really hard last name or something that I like, and you really have to practice that for sure. I'd practice that in the mirror. Right? You guys ever done that? Practicing like last names in the mirror?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
I've gotten really good at spelling out the name phonetically. So if it's a really hard last name, you spell it out phonetically on your paperwork.
Smart.
And then that way it's okay, yeah, and
I should have done that for my opening for VendrCast. Should have spelled it out phonetically.
That's okay. Next time.
Absolutely right. Hey, live set.
Yeah.
No. So, what do you have to add about being an MC and some of the stuff that you've done, best practices, and just kind of overall like how's been your experience?
So the first thing I'd like to bring up, especially when it comes to weddings in particular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couples think, hey, I'm hiring a DJ to play music.
Yeah.
That's like 25%, 20% maybe
20%
of what we actually do. I mean, yeah, we're playing music.
Definitely.
But there's a lot of other stuff that goes on with like coordinating and emceeing and all that stuff behind the scenes. But let's think about a wedding. When does the dance party happen at a wedding?
After the first dances. Well, actually, it depends when the bar's open.
Yes. Oh, sometimes at cocktail hour.
That's true. Cocktail hour.
If I'm DJing your wedding. Shameless plug. Anyway,
that's the end. That's the end, Justin. We talked about that. You get one. No, I'm just joking. It's fine.
Like you blew it.
No, you're good.
So I like to split the wedding into thirds, right? You have your first third, second third, and then the last third is usually when the dancing happens.
Cool. Right? And the rowdy.
So for the first 2/3, what's your job as a DJ? You got to keep people engaged to get them to that last third. Because if they're not engaged, if they're not having fun, if they're not hyped up, by the time you get to that point, they're grabbing a dessert, they're heading out the door. Right?
Is that kind of your goal throughout the night? Like, okay, I got through the first third, people are dancing, we're good. Make it to the second third, okay, and then make it to the third. You're like,
so I know my DJ skills are great. So if I can get them to the third third,
yeah,
we're good. We're solid.
You're good. Absolutely.
So for me, it's like, how can I entertain them without using my DJ skills?
Oh, that's actually a really interesting
and that's
point. Yeah,
where it comes to being an MC.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, as an MC, what can you do to keep people engaged and excited to hit that dance floor? Well, number one, if you're cheesy or you use that throw up voice, okay? That's what I call it, the throw up voice.
Do you do
like
that?
You're going to throw up. Hey, introducing the bride and the groom. No, I don't do that.
Okay, I was going to say, hello, kids, welcome to the wedding.
That's like your cliche MC, right?
Really?
If you do stuff like that, do you come off as authentic or inauthentic?
You come off as you're playing a character.
You're playing a character.
Yeah.
So, not authentic.
No, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
Do people want to pay attention to someone that's not authentic?
Absolutely
No.
not. Yeah.
The other thing, if you feel like if you're talking to a crowd, does that make someone feel like you're talking to them specifically?
Interesting. Okay.
So when I'm emceeing, I try to design it as if I'm talking to each individual. So
you're like singling people out.
There's 200 people.
Yeah.
But I make it sound like I'm talking to you specifically.
I like it.
Because if it sounds like I'm talking to you specifically, then you're going to be in tune with me. You think I'm talking to you.
Throw a compliment at someone and
Yeah.
then something like that. Just get them engaged
But
with you.
not even like, it's just like the verbiage you use. Instead
Oh,
of
I see,
saying like,
okay.
hey, welcome everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, instead I say, hey, welcome. I appreciate you being here.
I like that. Using the you instead of just using the broader term.
Because
I like that.
if
Yeah.
we're having a one-on-one conversation and I
Yeah.
say, hey, welcome everybody, do you feel like I'm talking to you?
No, absolutely not.
Hey,
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah.
Thank you for being
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
Right now you're like, wow, he
This
cool.
is I'm the host and I feel like I'm like the special
good about
here. Well, I'm gonna blush a
So
little bit.
my biggest tip to other DJs, other MCs is anytime if you're writing out a script or you're like figuring something out, whatever it is, make sure it sounds like if you were having a one-on-one conversation,
Uh-huh.
that the verbiage would work in that one-on-one conversation.
That's a really good that's really good advice.
Because people want to know that
that resonates with people.
you're talking to them specifically. You're
yeah.
not just addressing
You're not
like,
just reading a blanket script. Like it's
the
like
whole crowd.
and also too, like when you say like I appreciate you for being here, using that universal you.
Yeah.
It really is powerful in the sense because people do feel part of that, right? And that's what you want to do when you're being the MC. You want everybody to feel welcome. Like even if you're here for the cake, nope, now you're here for the vibes because like I'm the one leading the vibes.
Yeah.
Right?
You were here for the cake.
You were here for the cake, but now you're
by the time we're done,
you're gonna get both.
I'm gonna sell you into being here for the whole vibe.
Absolutely, right? So when it comes to, you know, like setting the vibe for like weddings and stuff like that, right? And you talked about your thirds, right? And actually I have a question here essentially about pacing, right? So when you start the actual like actually let's back up because we talked a lot about music, right? And there's more attributes to actually being a DJ than just playing the music. That's like you said, that's 20%, right? So you both also manage these like very very busy DJ businesses, right? And maintaining a busy business is not easy, right? So let's talk about that, right?
So actually now the music is like 2% when you throw in the business. I was talking about 20% of a wedding.
Got it. So that was the divider right there.
We're at
2%. Okay, gotcha.
2% of what I absolutely
Gotcha.
love.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, that's actually an interesting dynamic because like when you're doing it, then like does it make you love it that much more? Because like the timing you get to do it is so much sparse.
Well, thankfully, I've always loved like the business end of things. I've run businesses,
Cool.
so I mean, through and through, I love everything I do. But
yeah, definitely.
like, would I love a little bit more time spinning music? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah, and like, did you guys like when it comes to managing your businesses, right? Like, did you go to business school? Did you guys take any business classes? Did you guys have really good mentors who kind of walked you through things? Was just want to trial by fire? And we're gonna throw some spaghetti at a wall and see what sticks. Like, what do you think, John?
Yeah, wow.
On the spot. Like, hold on, let's get a hotlight right here, like a spotlight.
I never in a million years thought that I would be a business owner in my lifetime. That wasn't even on my radar. Like I said, when I got out of the nightclub and decided, okay, maybe it's time to get a big boy job, an adult job, and I went and became an electrician and got into restoration.
Yeah.
Yeah, being a business owner wasn't even in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And when I ran back into Brian years after I left the nightclub, I was with my fiance, now wife, and we just went to dinner at a restaurant up in Loveland, and Brian just so happened to be there DJing at this place, and just it was one of those kind of fate type of things. We ran back into each other, and from that moment, I started, me and him reconnected. We exchanged numbers, and then he'd reach out whenever he needed help setting up for an event.
Yeah.
Because at the time he owned Howe Eventful and was running it. And he just would reach out to me and be like, yeah, I could use some extra hands on this, setting up and whatnot. And it was just a weekend thing of me
Got
going
it.
and helping him out.
And was this during that 7-year period at the nightclub then?
No, this was after the nightclub.
Got it. Okay.
So after
cool.
the nightclub,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was probably there was a 6-year period that I was just doing odd jobs.
Yeah,
I was doing
electrician
other
and
jobs here
journeyman
and
and all
there.
that stuff. And then
And
you ran
then
into
when I ran into Brian,
Yeah.
this was, 20
Real jobs.
This was like 2021,
That's a
2020,
blue-collar
something like
jobs right
that.
there.
It was 2021. I ran into Brian again and, started helping him out on the weekends. And then that blossomed into, after about 9 months of doing that, he just came to me and he goes, "Hey, I can't share you with your day job anymore. I need you to come on full time with my company
Yeah.
and be my production manager and help me out with all these events and taking care of equipment and getting equipment to where the DJs need equipment for events and stuff." And so I took the leap from the, guaranteed paycheck from the 40-hour a week work week.
Real job.
With a quote
absolutely
unquote real job, day job.
quote.
I took the leap of that to, the unsure of the event business and was like, yeah, let's do this. And I came on board with Brian full time. I believe it was January of 2022.
Okay.
And
so recently, I mean, you recently became like a business owner like 3 years ago.
And that was just, I was his production manager.
Wow.
I was his production manager, and then he approached me about getting back into DJing. And that's when I really immersed myself into the special event side of the house instead of nightclubs.
Yeah.
Doing special events and, and weddings. And I quickly became one of the top used DJs for Howe Eventful, as well as being the production manager.
Cool.
And then a little over a year ago is when Brian kind of came to me and he said, "Hey, I am looking to step back from ownership, and How Eventful is either going to close its doors or you're going to take it to its next chapter."
Gotcha.
And so I was like, "Let's do this.
Cool.
Let's absolutely do this." And we started the planning process.
Were you married at the time or engaged? Or like, my question is, how did your partner respond to like, okay, we're leaving this 40-hour a week work job, we're gonna buy this business? Like, how did that conversation go? And like,
my
tell me about
wife
that.
has always been my number one cheerleader, supporter.
Cool.
No matter what I want to do, she is behind me 100%.
Yeah.
She has always been the person to tell me, do it, go for it, take the leap.
Yeah.
You deserve this. You just like, she's absolutely amazing. She has never told me no, even though I'm sure many a times she probably should have. Yeah, I'm telling you, I have a t-shirt that says, "In my defense, I was left unsupervised." And that's like straight up the facts.
It's funny you say that. My girlfriend has a hat. It says "shit show supervisor," right? So you're like you're left with unsupervised.
Yeah.
And she is the supervisor, so I totally get it. Like,
And
I mean, we were left unattended. I mean, like, what do you like? We are not to blame. So I get that.
Right.
So you tell her, and what's her name, by the way?
her name is Valerie.
Hi, Valerie. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Okay, so Valerie finds out, and she's probably at home being like, "Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe he brought that to my attention."
No, she's always been, like I said, my number one cheerleader, really.
Yeah. No,
and so when I came home that night, and said, "Hey, Brian just offered me a full-time job working for him," and then also when again, 2 years later, when I told her that, "Hey, Brian just offered me to take over the business." Same answer. "Oh my God, that's fantastic. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Let's do this. I'm super, super excited." And so, yeah, I've never, I've always had nothing but support from my wife and my kids. They've always been in my corner. Never had any, maybe you shouldn't do this. It's always been yes, 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 yes. Right. And I'm super blessed, because not only I get that in my professional life of I've got this support structure, but in all of my hobbies. So, my wife, it's bless her soul, bless her heart that she is here for me because yeah, I'm not only ADHD, I'm bright lights and shiny objects.
Dude, I totally get that.
And when it comes to
Absolutely.
hobbies,
Same here.
when it comes to hobbies, I only go for the most
Like shiny
expensive
object.
things.
Bro,
It's like
high five.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
that's like the formula for a great DJ, by the way.
Yeah,
Bright
dude,
lights and
bright
shiny
lights,
objects.
shiny objects.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, this song
it's
could be fun. Let me throw this in there.
I
Oh,
know. I already got a song idea. Start producing that after this.
No, I love it, dude. I love it.
But yeah, my wife is there's I
John
saw
Ski and Valerie.
I saw a quote,
It's cute.
not a quote really, but I guess it was more of a meme that said, get yourself a wife that says, I love you, you're doing great. I don't know where that $800 Lego set came from, but it looks great on that shelf. That is my wife.
Okay, I can't get my wife to buy into the Legos, unfortunately, but I bought a couple moving headlight. It was like $4,000, right, for this event. And she's like, "Oh, you should buy 2 sets." And I was like, "Whoa,
Well,
let's pump the brakes a little bit."
but like, you
Yes,
really mean
but-
it too?
I get the same support, like
That's awesome.
100%.
And isn't it amazing when we have the support of people at home? It makes our like what we have to do, like essentially when we have to push the boulder up the hill, what like because everyone's pushing a boulder up a hill every single day for it to roll back down. But what's cool is that boulder's transforming us and making us stronger every day. But what's even cooler when you have someone you love and care about who is, like you said, your number one cheerleader, who's just encouraging you every step up the hill, right? And it just makes it feel that much more worth it, right? And so it's so important to have people like that at home. And I'm so grateful for you that I'm so glad that you do have that. I'm grateful for Valerie for being that for you. And Justin, who is your lady at home and who's your cheerleader? I want to know the story. How'd you guys meet?
So Leslie is my wife,
Hi, Leslie. Thank
my
you so much for
cheerleader.
watching the pod.
my number one cheerleader. She's always supported
Amazing.
me. In fact, it was her idea for me to start my own DJ business.
Okay, cool.
I was
Tell me
working at-
about that. How did you go from just making music then DJing to actually developing your business?
Okay, so I was DJing in San Diego.
Yeah.
I kind of worked with the company there with like for weddings and events, and then moved out to Denver. And
Okay.
then when I came out to Denver, I really didn't DJ or do any of that.
Got it. And did you meet Valerie in California? Or did you
Leslie.
meet her? Leslie, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Valerie's-
Valerie, Leslie. Okay, Justin and
That's right, you're cut off.
John, Valerie and Leslie. Similar. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Leslie, did you meet her in California or did you meet her in Denver?
So interesting story.
Okay.
I actually met her when I was 18.
Okay.
We took like a random trip up to Big Bear with a big group of friends, and that was
Okay.
the first time I met her.
Cool.
But it wasn't until after I moved to Denver that we kind of like reunited, or I actually started paying attention to her. So I was in Denver, she was in San Diego,
Okay.
and we kind of did the long distance thing for quite a while.
Got it.
And then finally she decided to move out here to Denver.
Cool.
Yeah. And she's hated it ever since. Yeah, I told her, hey, Denver has like 300 sunny days a year. And she's like, yeah, but 20 degrees and sunny doesn't count.
I disagree. I mean, the sun's really hot. It doesn't really feel too bad. It feels great.
I mean, it feels great when you're in the sun.
and when you're snowboarding, you know
And
what
when
I
you're
mean?
snowboarding,
Absolutely,
right?
right? So, like,
But,
okay, so Leslie, she moves to Denver, and did you buy your business here? Like, you
So
started it here, right? So
started it here.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, you hate your job. You love DJing. You're really good at it. And she's really honest. So if like I sucked, she would be like, yeah,
You should,
maybe
like maybe
you should figure out something else.
Yeah, it's a fun hobby.
Yeah. Hobby, but
It's a good hobby. I think it's a hobby to have.
you should be an electrician.
You know, maybe we should get your journeymans. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, but she was
That's
like, "Hey,
awesome.
you should do this." And at the time, she was working with her company, working with a lot of small businesses and opening a new branch for the credit union she was working for. So she was like really integrated in like the business community.
Yeah.
And I think she saw that maybe there's some potential there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I put my head down, started the business, and that's kind of how Exclusive Events was born. But yeah,
Really, just
we
wow.
Like, there's no way I could do it without her. Every time I feel like that boulder is gonna roll back and run me over, she sticks a hand in there and
Yeah.
helps me push that boulder up a hill, or
Yeah.
motivates me somehow. And I throw like all kinds of like batshit crazy
I'm
ideas
sure.
um at her,
Yeah.
and she's honest. Sometimes she's like, "Yeah, I don't know about that," and sometimes she's like, "You think that's crazy, but I think that's actually a great idea." So
Mm,
she's definitely the person that I try to bounce everything
yeah. I get that.
off of.
Like sounding board.
Yeah, it's like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" She's like, "Oh, that sounds generic AF," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks." She kind of hurt my feelings, but I'm just like, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board on that one.
I'd spent like, 5 months on that, but okay.
And when it comes to breakout artists and new music, so we talked about Dom Dalla, right?
Yeah.
So she introduced me to Dom Dalla like several years ago, like
Yeah.
before he was even anything. She's like, "Oh, you gotta check out this guy. He's freaking awesome." And I was
She's
like,
got good taste. I mean, as far as house goes, yeah,
"I
that
can rock with this."
Yeah.
And like he's like the number one DJ out like in the world right
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
He's pretty amazing. So hey, record companies, if you want someone to find good music for you, you should talk to my wife, Leslie.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. She should be your sounding board.
Yeah.
So when you're screening new artists and stuff like that, just play the stuff for her. If she likes it, it'll do well.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really funny. So we have Valerie, Leslie,
Leslie.
and Ashley is my girl at home. So just all a bunch of Lees, right? So thank you so much. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. Okay. So everyone always says, I want my event to be unforgettable. I want the unforgettable experience, stuff like that, right? Well, DJs kind of curate that unforgettable experience, whereas like photographers, videographers, we capture the unforgettable experience, right? But it's up to you guys to kind of curate that in the sense of the vibes, right? So, in your opinion, right, if you had to pick one, right, to make that unforgettable moment, are you going for energy or are you going for execution? Right? So in the sense of how you kind of like create this unforgettable event, right? And I'd actually like, and it's funny because your bios actually kind of pull different sides, right? So you're more energy, right? And you're more the execution based, right? And so I'd like to hear kind of both your thoughts on that, right? And for the record, there is no wrong answer, right? They're both correct. Right, I just like to hear your side in the sense of like why you feel energy is more important versus execution, right? So whoever would like to start, I think John started last time. So Justin,
Oh,
you're
all
up.
right.
We need a coin. I need a coin.
Yeah.
I'm always interviewing two people at the same time, and it's like, okay, flip a coin, and Justin, you're up.
So it's energy and it's timing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
If you have too many epic moments, what happens? No moment actually like stands out, right? So you got your peaks and valleys. So a good
Mm.
DJ is going to take you to the peak, and then he's going to bring it down.
Uh-huh.
Take you to another peak, bring it down. Take you to another peak, and you're going to remember all those peaks. That's what makes it like unforgettable, at least for like a dance
For
floor.
sure, definitely. And like and that's a really great answer, right? Because maybe the bride is like, that's like what gets her going in the sense of like that unforgettable moment of just being out there with her girls and you played like single ladies because you said you don't know what's going to work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so the energy and timing is of such a good point. And okay, John.
Well, can I add something? So you play
Absolutely.
like Superstition, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And you get Grandma out on the dance floor, and then you play Get Low, and Grandma's dropping it low with her granddaughter and all the bridesmaids.
That's a very good example.
Those are the moments that you remember at your wedding. Like Grandma was dropping it low.
For sure.
With
And
me.
those are the photos we're capturing. Everyone just loves to see that. That and like that's a pro move right there. Get like Superstition and then just throw in like Get Low. Like when grandma's out there, you put on like the heavy rap or whatever and just watch her just get all thug.
And
Everyone loves a thug grandma.
Grandma's making like the mean face.
Like gets like the sideways hat from like the whatever it is, the selfie station or whatever. Nah, dude, that's
from
such
my
a good
photo
point.
booth.
Absolutely, right?
Steal all
For
the
sure.
props.
Just take the props on the dance floor. Okay, so energy, timing, execution. So execution, and what is that to you, right? Execution is subjective in the sense of like, what do you when you say execution, what do you define as execution? As far as your business, right? I'm not looking for like a dictionary definition of execution is whenever something goes completely correct.
When you chop someone's head off.
Oh my goodness. That's
I'm
the third
actually
definition down. Are we kidding?
I'm going to back it up a little bit and say that a successful event, what makes a successful event isn't necessarily energy or execution. It's a combination of the two, really.
Mhm.
Is, you not only have to have the energy that's keeping everybody involved and keeping the vibe up, but you also have to have the execution as well in with the energy.
Mm.
And, I would say what makes a successful event is kind of curating what you do to the bride and groom.
Mm.
So you make it feel personal.
Mm.
And where that comes in is the many planning meetings that you have with the bride and groom
Yeah.
prior to, is getting to know them. And, and when you get to know your client, you're able to throw in some personal touches
Mm.
throughout the wedding or throughout the event
Yeah.
that, it makes them feel like this is mine. So
Absolutely.
yes,
Truthfully.
you always have that client that's like, I want the most unforgettable wedding. I want my guests to be talking about it. I want my wedding to be better than my sister's was last year.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's,
Just call it right out.
and it's one of those, like,
Real talk.
it's
That's
yeah.
wild,
They,
actually.
I mean, they always want to have the best wedding. No
Sister's
matter-
wedding was great, but we want it
we want it better. Yeah.
So
And
funny.
and where that comes in is just, being able to tailor make the experience to the bride and groom
Yeah.
in such a way that they do feel like their wedding was the best ever because it was personal,
Mm.
and there was that nice personal touch
Mhm.
of, little nuances thrown in. I always go back to an example that I use. I had a client a couple years ago that they were also huge fans of Lego. They
Got it.
absolutely loved Lego. They, to the point where they had Lego on all the tables. They had two little Lego pieces put together to form a heart, and they were little
Okay.
keychains that they would give out to
Cool.
all their guests.
Yeah, yeah.
And just knowing that they loved Lego,
Yeah.
I threw in songs from the Lego movie into their
I was
dance
gonna ask
party.
if you decided to do that. Like
And
everything
yeah,
is
everything is awesome.
awesome.
I dropped everything is awesome right into the middle of their dance party.
That's awesome,
And
dude.
just that one moment was enough that, I still,
Mm.
I'll run into somebody who
Yeah.
was at that wedding, or, I'll, a lot of my brides and grooms end up friend requesting me on Facebook. And,
That's cool.
I welcome that big time because I love seeing, I
Yeah.
love following their story from the moment on, after the wedding. And I get Facebook messages from that bride and groom in particular that, every once in a while they're like, hey, we just thinking about you. And, and
That's a
they
really cool.
bring up that specific time on the dance floor and how, I just threw in everything was awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's those moments. Those are the moments that make it absolutely unforgettable. This might sound a little bit harsh, but when I create a wedding experience for my clients, it's tailored to the bride and groom. I want the bride and groom to have that unforgettable experience.
Mm.
The guests, if they do, great.
Yeah.
If they don't, not so much. I'm not
Yeah.
sweating about that.
Yeah.
The people that I want to have the unforgettable experience is the bride and groom. It's because it is their day. This is focused on them.
Yeah.
And so so that's where, having the planning meetings and getting to know them,
Yeah.
you're able to really
You learn
personalize
about
each event.
genuinely learn about the bride and groom, and then you can apply that to the set you throw down.
And it's really easy, because once
sure.
once you get to know them
Yeah.
and you're able to customize their day, there's no, you don't have to overthink it. Like I said before, you don't have to overthink on, oh, how am I going to make this experience unforgettable? I just did. I just did by personalizing their dance floor, by personalizing the dance party, or maybe saying a little something like, I had a client that was huge into Dungeons and Dragons. And prior to the first dance, I got on the microphone and I asked the groom, I was like, "Hey, you want to throw a 20-sided die for dexterity before doing this?"
That's a really good idea.
The
That's so
entire
funny.
room
That's so
exploded.
funny.
Everyone loved it.
That is such a
And
good joke, and that
just
is such a crowd appropriate joke too.
yeah.
And dexterity is really funny, right? Like that's a fantastic idea, John.
And that's just, it's all a part of getting to know your
For
client.
sure. Definitely
And
client meetings.
building that rapport and building
Yeah.
that bond with them. And when you do, making those unforgettable experiences is easy. It's super easy because you're just
friends.
personalizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. You mentioned something, and I'd like to hear, honestly, if you guys have any stories, right? But you mentioned I'm there for the couple, not the crowd, right? The guest, especially, right? Have you guys ever had any guest horror stories where like guests will come up and just like touch your decks because they go wiki wiki, or they just think they can like touch anything they want? And like, what has been some of your horror stories, or if there's one that stands out? I'm just curious, right? So Justin, you're shaking your head. Look like you got something on deck.
Yeah, sometimes guests think it's their wedding. So they might request a song, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but keep requesting. And then, as they're walking out, give you the middle finger and a FU at the end of the night because
Damn.
they wanted to turn it into, their celebration. But it could be like a song on the do not playlist. It could be some really weird slow song that was like their wedding first dance song, and the couple just doesn't want slow dance songs.
For sure.
Now, there's 2 ways you can handle this. You could say, "Hey, look, this is not on the like this is on the couple's do not playlist," or, "This is not what the couple's going for."
I don't have this file.
But in a situation like that, what's the first thing they do? They walk up to the
The bride and
couple,
groom be like,
and then they guilt them into like
damn.
playing a song like
It's
this.
why that
So
first of all, that's just wild that people think that's even remotely
yeah.
okay
Oh,
to go
yeah.
and be like, hey, excuse me, the DJ's not playing my song.
Yeah.
That's not your day. Okay,
Yeah.
continue, please.
Oh, they'll totally do that. They'll guilt like, when I first started my career, I might 2 or 3 times say, like, "Oh yeah, I'll try to fit that in. Yeah, I got you.
Oh, it's in the queue.
I got you." Or if I'm like, "Wow, that's just absolutely terrible. Hey, that's not really like the vibe we're going for. Do you have something that fits like what we're playing right now?" And they're like, "Oh, this music's trash." It's like, wow, way to, make me your friend.
Let's find a new DJ.
I mean, all
the
the people on
DJ
the dance
sucks.
floor don't say it's trash or don't think it's trash, but
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
but yeah, and then eventually, I might say, "Hey, look, this is not what the couple wants to hear." And I'd see him walk right over to the couple, and then the bride comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, can you just play this, but just play like the first verse and then just get out of it."
Oh yeah, like it's that easy.
So now I try to just avoid that
Yeah.
and just like, either ask for a suggestion that maybe fits or say,
Smart.
"Yeah,
Smart.
I'll try to fit that in for you."
Yeah.
And then of course I don't, and then at the end of the night they're like, "Yeah, play my song." Yeah. So I'll take a bullet for my couples.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure like the first request to the sixth request, the variable of drinks that this person has had.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's like a direct equation. It's like every time they ask, it adds another drink, right? So
Yeah.
by the sixth request, they're slurring.
Oh yeah, you can't like if I didn't already know what the request was because they requested it like 5 other times.
Can you play Kesha? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, I got you.
I like
Kesha too. I mean, you know what? Actually, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, hey,
what do you got?
yeah.
What do you want?
We
Take
can
it,
play Kesha.
Like TikTok or take it off? Absolutely. One or the other. Both.
Yeah, if you play TikTok, you got to play the FP Diddy version. You can't play the
100%. I'm glad they actually came out.
Can't play
and
the
made
old
that.
one.
No, yeah, you gotta get the updated version. All DJs out there, make sure you're updating your decks. Okay?
But yeah,
don't throw that down.
So sometimes it's a dangerous job out there,
For sure.
But like I said, I'll take a bullet for my for my couples, and I'll take it F you and the
I'll
spit in the face.
take all the
and,
take it all, take all the brunt, right? And that's awesome because so
Yeah.
often, I mean, people do that all the time. Like, I get so frustrated when I'm at weddings, and you can clearly tell that the bride and the groom are an afterthought, and like the day isn't about them. It's when it's about like the family, or it's like like it's just so. I always go up to the bride and groom, make a point to say this, and I think I say this on like every episode of the podcast, just happenstance. But like, I always go up to the bride and groom, and I'm just like, listen, at the end of the day, all that matters is you're going to be married to your best friend. Everything else is consequential. Like, if you know that, you already are going to have the best day ever, no matter what happens, right? Because like, bride and grooms get so mixed up in like just everything that they shouldn't be worrying about. And the reason why that happens is because, like, just like you said, people who are essentially not aware enough of, oh, this isn't about me, right? Not today. This is not my day. Like, you know, but I'm here. And so like, I want him to play my song. It's like, no, right? So, you know,
Well-
song request is one thing, right? So what song requests, what are some of the guest things that have happened to you that like have been some of your horror stories other than a wedding, or just some of
Oh
the
man.
pet peeves from guests, right? Like touching your decks, like I said, or what do you got?
I mean, I've had it all. I've had it, you know, from going to use the restroom really quick and coming back and finding a guest typing into my laptop searching for
Are you
songs
serious? They
to
actually
load
touched
onto
your
one of the
stuff?
decks. Oh, absolutely. Just going away and typing into the laptop looking for the songs they want to hear. And I've had to walk up and basically, ask
Check 'em.
ask them to leave as politely as possible because, it's
How old was this person? Just out of curiosity.
Personally, I just get out on the dance floor and be, oh,
They
you're taking
were-
over?
All right.
they were mid.
New DJ.
Yes, I'd
My
say
set
mid
time's up.
20s.
Give them 3 songs, they'll be booing them
Yeah.
and begging for you to go back onto the decks.
I'm sure. You know what's so funny though? What if they're like, "Oh no, I got this controller at home. I know exactly what I'm doing." It's like,
Yeah.
you got it, really?
Oh,
All
I'm
right.
kind of a DJ myself.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, anywhere from catching a guest literally typing on my laptop
So that's a wild one,
to
dude.
a couple getting too crazy on the dance floor and too wild to where they've actually fallen over and knocked into my DJ, into my facade and table. And with, if I wouldn't have been there to catch the table from falling and to catch the facade, everything would have come crashing down.
Swinging on the sub pole like it's a stripper pole.
Yeah, just, I mean, they really,
way. Really?
some guests just don't have any awareness
Yeah.
of respect when it
Yeah.
comes to, the equipment
Yeah.
that is involved with, DJing a wedding and stuff.
They just
Where
feel
yeah,
like-
I mean, I've had people, I mean, grabbing onto my speakers and trying to use my line array speaker as a makeshift stripper pole.
Oh my goodness.
I've had
Insane.
drunk aunt come and spill her entire margarita all over my controller.
Wait, no. Dude,
Oh,
had
yeah.
insurance and everything, I'm sure, right?
Well, that's exactly what we
Okay,
do.
okay.
If you're going to be a professional DJ, get insurance and
Okay,
keep
good
it
enough.
up to date.
Well, like, what do you
don't
do
let
the
it
rest of the
lapse.
night? Did you have a backup controller?
They're pretty resilient.
Yeah,
Depending
I
on the
mean, it
controller,
was-
like, hey, you can still, you might. Still
I
be able
was
to
able
DJ.
to complete the night, to finish out the
It's a little
night.
sticky.
Yeah,
You start using faders, it's just like they're stuck.
luckily I was at a venue where, the entire crew that works at that venue are just a dream team to work with.
Hmm.
And one of the guys that was bussing a table just off the dance floor saw it happen,
Yeah.
and he raced to the bar, grabbed a bar towel, and brought it back to me to, start cleaning up. And yeah, it's just a matter of, composure under fire kind of thing, where you got to keep that party going, as well as
Sure.
trying to clean up a mess without letting anybody know that the music
one
might
deck
get
and, like-
interrupted,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's, I pick a horror story and it has happened.
We could
You
probably
know,
do a whole podcast
when-
on
Just horror stories.
When you do
DJing for drunk people.
when you do enough events a year,
That's a good point.
anything
Yeah.
has happened.
That's a
Anything
really
and
good point.
everything has
Yeah.
happened.
You know what? Everything and everything has happened, right? And I really appreciate you guys taking time to come out here and like tell us about your journey and just share about, your passion for DJing and kind of just share some of your tidbits and insights of stuff you've garnered over the time. And honestly, you guys are both so knowledgeable and so passionate that we could literally be sitting here all night, right? And what I'd like to do, my final question, right, before we get into the closing and everything, right, is I really would like to hear like, where you're at now versus where you were before, right? What's a piece of advice that you would give yourself back then that you like would give yourself now? I think I said that right or wrong, but it's the
Yeah.
same. Okay, cool. All right. So what's a piece of advice you give yourself back then?
Oh man. Um, I think the best piece of advice that I could give myself back then, and it still applies today, is make sure you're not the smartest person in the room.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I
You
like
know,
that a lot.
and that's, in just these last uh 7 years,
Hmm.
um, I have been on a journey of truly bettering myself and becoming, the next best version that I could possibly become.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I set a goal that every day I want to be better than the guy I was yesterday, kind of thing.
Cool.
And on this journey, I've come in contact with so many wonderful, wise, and intelligent people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of put a couple rules in place, and that is number one: if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
Mm-hmm.
I need to switch rooms quick.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, that's. I mean,
It's a great
that's
piece of advice. I mean, that is a
that's probably the
great piece
best
of
piece of
advice.
advice.
And what's cool is you can check that, right? Like just ask that question every once in a while and see where you're sitting, right? And be like, yep, pretty dumb in here. No, I'm just joking. No, what's cool is it's like I can learn a lot in here. And that's a
Yeah.
really good way to look at it, right? It's not like because a lot of people see it one or two ways. It's like, oh, I'm the dumbest one here. It's like, no. Don't think of it that way. You have the most to learn in that room. And that's really cool, right? What do you got,
And
Justin?
it's okay to outgrow those rooms too.
Absolutely. And then you go
Oh,
into
yeah.
new rooms.
And then you find
Yeah,
yourself a new
100%.
room. And just kind of to piggyback off of that, like you can only do so much yourself, and that's kind of why we started that DJ network here in Colorado. Because even a guy starting out versus a 40-year expert, like you can learn something from everyone. So don't like discount, anybody. My biggest thing that I would tell I think there's really kind of like two things.
Yeah.
Number one is always be working towards your goal,
Cool.
your vision.
Yeah.
I like to think it of like, investing in the stock market, right?
Yeah.
You invest a little bit every day, but in the long run, it pays off huge. So if you invest in the thing you want to do, even if it's like, okay, I only have like 20 minutes to practice DJing today, that's 20 minutes that you put into it
Yeah.
that maybe you wouldn't have. That 20 minutes that day plus another 20 minutes another day plus another 20 minutes the next day,
Yeah.
it starts to add up over time.
Definitely.
So whether you can give 5 minutes or you can give like 3 hours into something, give it that time. And then number two would be, you just got to really stay authentic and true to yourself. If you're doing things for the wrong reasons, you're just not going to be successful.
Definitely.
And so true in business. Like if you're in business just to make money, money's not a great motivator, unfortunately. But like values and culture and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what's going to keep you pressing on
Yeah.
and doing what you want to do.
Definitely.
Seeing like the big plan about it. Like if you're a musician, it might be like, hey, this is a message I want to spread, right? And that's why you grind hour after hour making music just so you can spread that message.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like, hey, I just want to, make music so I can be cool and make money, well, that's it's gonna pass very fast.
Yeah, you're
There's
you're
got to
gonna
be
fall
some
out
sort
of
of
it.
meaning.
Intrinsic meaning for you because here's the thing: if you spend years on a song and you poured your heart into this, and you put the weight of that in the hands of others, it to you is worthless.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, exactly what you just said,
It's got to
right?
be important to
It's
you.
got to be important to you. It's got to matter to you.
Yeah.
And that is phenomenal advice, my guy.
Yeah. And you know what?
Thank you.
People will, not everyone's going to like what you do. And that's perfectly cool. Right.
But do you like what you do?
But if you love what you do, there's 8 billion people on this planet.
Absolutely.
So there's going to be at least one other person.
It's like,
So you just got to find that right
Mhm.
audience, and you got to hang out with those people. Don't hang out with the people that don't like what
nah,
you do.
you're absolutely right. It goes back to that saying, like, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
Right. And, that's really, it's that simple. Right. Well, thank you guys tonight for really taking the time, just have a conversation and share some of, like I said, your insight, your experience, your story. Right. We're really honored to have you guys on VendrCast for the season finale.
Season
Er,
finale.
Episode 12. Right. I'm going to give each of you guys the opportunity to do a little bit of a plug for your business. Right. And then I have some just some events and stuff like that I want to shout out for this venue, as well as some other stuff going on. But yeah, guys. So who would like to go first?
I mean, I guess I keep asking you to go first, but I'll go first this time. So, Justin with exclusive events, and really, like, we bring the fun to couple, like, not only couples but clients
sure.
that want high energy,
Yeah.
club like, authentic celebrations.
Cool.
That's what we're going for. We're not going for cliché. We're not going for cookie cutter, replay and repeat kind of thing. We want to create an event that's designed around you, that feels like you, and that just blows your guests out of the water and makes them talk about that event for years to come.
Cool. That's awesome, because personalized events are that much more special.
Yeah.
Right. And that's really, it takes time. It takes more time to do that on the front end, but it pays dividends in the back end.
It does.
Absolutely. Just John.
He stole my line.
Line.
No, I mean, how eventful. I know I don't know everything there is to know about this industry,
Cool.
but one thing I am really good at is listening. And with how eventful, we listen to our clients
Mm.
and make the experience custom and tailor-made to
Mhm.
exactly how they envision the day going.
Yeah.
And that's not just weddings, that's corporate events, AV, special events, parties,
Yeah.
whatever you can think of. That's where we really shine is communication and listening to our clients and taking that vision and bringing it to life.
Awesome. And that's what you're meant to do, right? As a DJ, right? Like, you're not just there to curate vibes, right? You're also there to, like, work with the couple and, like, really understand their vision and make their vision come to life. Right? And you guys both do that just so well. And that's why it's been such a privilege to sit down and speak with you both and just learn about it and everything. Like I said, as I'm, starting to, develop this passion myself, it's really cool to sit down and talk to you guys, and just really, I really appreciated this conversation tonight more than you guys know. So thank you again. Just some announcements and some housekeeping notes. This has been sitting here the whole time. I forgot to mention what it actually is. So we've been running a secret contest for our top fan. So whoever's our top fan in the comments right now will get this amazing growler from Bigsby's Folly. And you essentially can fill up your reusable Bigsby's Folly wine growler with your favorite choice from the wines on tap at our tasting room. So daily selections vary, and if you win, we'll reach out to you. We'll send you the certificate, which has the instructions and everything you need to know about that as well. And speaking of things that I also need to mention is our sponsors. So our sponsors are Lionsgate, located in Lafayette. We've shown you the Chandelier Barn. We've shown you the Dove House, but excuse me, hold on. We've shown you the Gatehouse, right? Now it's time to see the Dove House. such an incredible venue with an even better staff. So if you're looking for a place to host an event or a wedding, look no further than Lionsgate. So we also mentioned, Bigsby's Folly. We're here, and man, what a beautiful venue. I mean, I'll tell you, Devin said it best when we were setting up. He's like, it looks like a film set, and it does. I mean, it has a lot of exposed brick, which, being a photographer, exposed brick is some of our favorite things to see when we walk into a building. Right, it just makes the photos pop because everyone loves exposed brick. But some events they have coming up, right? I'm gonna list them off real quick. So basically, they have happy hour every day from 4 to 6. Trivia Tuesdays every Tuesday from 7 to 9, which is currently happening right now. And so I don't know who's winning, but it's been fun doing a podcast while listening to trivia. But okay, we also have Vino and Vintage, a classic movie played every Wednesday. Really fun. Grab some wine, watch a classic flick. Easter brunch is this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. They have a 4-course wine dinner April 23rd at 6. They also have Bixby's Bazaar Market April 25th from 12 to 5, and that's a market full of vendors, small businesses, and finally, they have Sip and Learn on April 30th. It's an exclusive trip around Italy with winemakers. Essentially, you're not going to Italy, they're bringing Italy to you. And then another event coming up is for the MPI, Meeting Professionals International. Shameless plug here. Love all you guys listening. On April 16th, join us at MSU Denver, the School of Hospitality. From registration starts at 8 a.m., but the extra education starts at 9:30 and goes until 11 a.m. The timing is different, so it's in the morning this month, not the evening. Make sure you're tracking that. Planners are only $25. Come in, learn something, and meet someone new. It's always a great time. And last but certainly not least, I really want to do an amazing tech team shout out to our incredible team here. Vinny and Matt is incredible. Thank you so much for making us look good and sound even better. Appreciate you both. So thank you again for watching. And if you're a venue person who is either interested in hosting one of these events, or you're an event vendor that wants to be a guest on the show, please let us know. We are always looking for sponsors, and we'd love to, have some help keeping this going, because, a lot of the times vendors just don't have an outlet for people that they can have a conversation with that actually understand what they're going through and can have that related, right? So that's what's really important about this show. That's what we do here. So thank you so much for tuning in for our podcast. And if you're interested in starting your own podcast, please reach out and let us know. We'd love to help you do it. So thanks again for joining us for the season finale of VendrCast, and we will see you next month.
Season 2.
Season 2.